Hey YouTube, this is Manga Marie coming to you with another manga review. Today we're going to be talking about the manga I Hear the Sunspot. Let's see, this is by Yui Fumino. Let's take a look at the summary. Because of a hearing disability, Koahi is often misunderstood by others and has trouble integrating into life on campus, so he learns to keep his distance. That is until he meets the outspoken and cheerful Taichi. He tells Koaki that his hearing loss is not his fault. Taichi's words cut through Koaki's unusual defense mechanisms like a knife and opens his heart. More than friends, less than lovers, the relationship changes Koaki forever. This is an interesting book. I read this one. Let's see, I purchased it quite a while ago because I kept hearing about it, and I got it in a haul of other manga, and I never got around to reading it just yet. So I knew I was gonna have to buckle down and start reading, my manga that I was stockpiling. So I really wish I had started this before now. It's an amazing story, and the thing I like most about it, the relationship between the two guys, is that it's very spontaneous. It's very literally Taichi comes out of nowhere into Koaki's life. His disability, his hearing disability, is he doesn't have total deafness. Um, he had an illness that caused him to lose a great deal of his hearing. So reading lips is mainly how he communicates. However, with Toaki, with Taichi, he talks so loud that Koaki just hears him. And so he's one of the only people that he can just always hear. And so that makes their relationship really unique and special. And so I also like the fact that the way the story is going, it's a slow burn, but in a good way. A lot of times when it's a slow burn, you just agonizing with why don't they just get together? This doesn't feel like that. Everything is flowing very naturally. Their friendship kind of starts out as a convenience for both of them, and then it moves forward into a gradual buildup while still you have an interest in them as individuals and also as them in their relationship, so you don't feel a need for them to rush and get together so that the story can grow. It's kind of growing um, for them as individuals and as a friendship that's kind of at I kind of think can go either way. It's kind of giving me a will they won't they type of thing. You don't really know which way it's going to go with them. And I like that. I like that. With Koaki's hearing disability, when he's in the school, when he's going into college, so that always makes it different because when you're in high school, most of the time, unless you're a kid that's like an army brat or somebody whose family always moves, typically you're going to go to school with the same kids every year for the most part. So whatever your thing is, whatever issue you have, or whatever unique thing about your life that there is that can be seen when you're in school, everybody's going to know about it through the years. So you'll just become the kid that has this thing going on. And so people get used to it, and you're just a part of this massive group. But when you go into college, you're going into a place where everybody else is from any and everywhere, different ages, and different walks of life. So you're a fish in a bigger pond, and you're dealing with people that you don't know. And so you're just like starting over from scratch in a very larger setting. And so you get to see his experience in doing that and trying to adjust to life on campus, and how, and dealing with all the people, the different types of people who may have never been around someone that couldn't hear. But there are also groups that, that are there, that a community of sorts. But Kawaki still stays to himself a lot. He feels very different, possibly because he wasn't born deaf. He could hear, so he doesn't. It's kind of like he's he's not a part of the hearing world, but at the same time, he's not completely a part of the non-hearing world. So you kind of get the feeling that he knows he doesn't feel a place there, but he doesn't feel a place over here. He doesn't feel the need to learn sign language because he can kind of hear and he can read lips, and he feels like that's enough. And so he's kind of in the middle, and you get to see what that experience is like, because that's a unique experience, as opposed to someone who's completely deaf and being born deaf and never hearing, versus someone who lost their hearing at a time in their life where they're very, very young, and but not so young that they don't recollect the experience of being a hearing person. So that's an interesting take on it as well. So you get to experience that situation. And with Taichi, you're dealing with someone who was essentially abandoned by his parents and raised by his grandfather. And so uh you're dealing with that. You're dealing with someone who has abandonment issues and who's, making the best out of the situation. And in spite of those difficulties, he's handling his situation very cheerfully. But I think that we may start to see the other side of that as the series goes on. I don't know, but so far both characters have been set up well. The supporting characters around them are well set up. Um, it's a very, very interesting book, and I like it. And I give it a strong 3.5. A 3.5 only because I don't know. The slow burn is good now, but the I just want to see by the next novel if the quality of the two characters' lives, if that keeps going, if the storytelling for them as individuals and for their friendship keeps going at the same momentum while it's still a slow burn, because both sides, both of their stories and their personal life stories outside of the relationship is very interesting in this first book, and I hope that it continues on in this sex. So out of precaution, I'm giving the series a 3.5 at this point until I see what happens in the next book. So that was my review of I Hear the Sunspot. I'm excited about the next volume, and I'm excited about y'all tuning in to hear what happens next as it moves forward. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and peace.